Oh, yeah, mic's working. Woo! It's Saturday morning. I just drank some coffee. I just took a shit. Verbal diarrhea is on its way. A fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap starts now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast. It's not a half-cast. It's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Ooh, wow, that really popped. And, of course, we are 2 seconds into the fucking show, and the recording software is already freezing up. Well, it wouldn't be a podcast if that fuckery wasn't going on. Anyway, good morning. Well, if you're listening to this on download or at pretty much any other time, then it might not be morning. Could be the middle of the fucking night. What do I know? Anyway, Mike Montone, Savage Sack Tap. Thank you for joining me. I may be moving about the space a tad gingerly this morning. These fucking glasses broke, the cheap pieces of shit. So I'm gonna have to order a fresh pair off of Amazon. But yeah, so either that or this thing is just gonna fucking fall apart and stab me in the eye during a live stream, which will actually be far more entertaining than anything that happens during this show. So keep your fingers crossed. It is what's today? It's the 12th, October 12th. I am more than a third of the way through sober October. So far, so good. The biggest challenge early on was learning how to fall asleep without weed, which honestly, it took me maybe 3 or 4 days to kind of get into a rhythm. I tend to, I'm a big sleepy time tea guy, and they make it with this valerian shit in it, which just fucking conks you right out. And I have a little bit of liquid melatonin, so I'll have a cup of that and drop in a half a milligram of liquid melatonin, and then curl up at the end of the long day. I've also become a huge nap guy, which is probably because I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning for work, and by 2 in the afternoon I'm fucking zonked. So I get home from the gym, and after my protein shake, I pretty much I hit the couch, and it's like 2 hours later, I'm like, whoa, where did the fucking time go? But yeah, if you're not a napper, I highly recommend. It's amazing. It's so weird. You're a little kid, and you're like preschool or like kindergarten or whatever, and they're like, it's nap time, and you're like, oh, this fucking sucks. This is bullshit. Holy shit, what a difference 30 years makes. You get older, and you're like, wait a minute. There was a time when the people in charge of me just said, hey, go lay down over there for 45 minutes and enjoy, and I didn't like it. How fucking great would the working world be if there was just nap time everywhere? If, like, you walked in, if you're like a fucking cubicle monkey, and you got back from lunch with a full belly full of, whatever you got from the fucking food truck, and your boss was like, hey man, look, go take a shit, jerk off in the stall, and then take your nap mat out and catch a little snooze. How fucking great would work? I bet people would probably take salary cuts for that kind of treatment. Amazing shit. I will say that without the daily weed, or even semi-daily would help this. I tend to have very anxious thought cycles. Like, I get caught in fucking, like, one little thought gets stuck in my brain. Like, I'll think of something kind of shitty that I did, like, a decade and a half ago, and I'll now ruminate on it for like a half hour, and I'll have to like work to break the thought cycle. So that kind of sucks. But otherwise, the only real and it's weird because you would think that is something that weed would cause you to do, to just fixate on fucking insane shit. But no, for me that happens because when I'm stoned, my mind just kind of wanders. It doesn't stay on anything for too long. But if I'm just fucking plain, then the anxiety, the anxious thoughts kind of kind of start to creep in, and I'll be like, man, when I was a sophomore in college, I was kind of a dick to that one person at a party, and I'm like, that's not, I don't, But you're thinking, what if if you're thinking back on it, that person could be remembering it, and that's like their impression of you, and you're like, oh, you don't want to put that kind of shit out into the world. As much of an asshole as I am, I prefer to be, a sort of entertaining asshole. I don't want people to be like, that guy's a piece of shit. But what are you gonna do? Can't. Bygones, water under a bridge. Yeah. Anyway, what else? Part of my sober October has also involved not whacking off to pornography. And again, I think I specified this last week. It's not a not whacking off at all, and it's not a not viewing pornography at all, because first of all, if you go a month without jerking off, you know what's going to happen. You're going to wake up one morning just covered in your own seed. And from what I hear, it's not very good for your prostate either. I think you're supposed to jizz a couple times a week to keep the pipes clean. And also, I follow on Twitter, Instagram, all of that. I just follow so many, adult film stars that the work that would go in to removing porn completely from my life would just be such a monumental. It would take the entire month. I literally, if I started on October 1st and went to November 1st, and then it would be November 1st, and I'd be like, fuck, now I gotta go refollow all of these pornographers. What the fuck, man? Stupid fucking sober October. No, the rule I made was essentially, I can view pornography, just not in a sexual manner. Like I cannot view with the intent to ejaculate. Is where I'm going with that. So yeah, between the weed and the porn, the biggest thing with sober October for me so far has really just been, how do you kill the free time? So I've been reading a lot more books. And again, napping like a motherfucker, and my workouts have been great. I've been working out like a fucking savage. I spent September doing a program where I was trying to realign some things posturally, because I was having some shoulder and lower back issues. So now it's nice to be like back to just fucking slamming weights, or what counts as slamming weights for a fucking 34-year-old who's not using anabolics. But yeah, the booze, I don't really I don't know. I as much as alcohol has been a great friend to me in the past, it's played a huge role in my life. Some of the absolute best times I have had have involved copious amounts of alcohol, but the older I get, the more I would rather do other shit to party. Like, I feel like if I was going to go out to a bar, I would like in the future, I would rather just like have 2 shots of whiskey and then carry around a beer and just kind of like nurse it and chill and maybe drink water. Like I went out to like I was saying last week, I went out to the Artie Lang show and I drank fucking club soda the whole night, and honestly, it was like, I could have had a beer. Everyone at my table was drinking, but I didn't, I just didn't need it. Fucking assholes, fucking jerk-offs at the bar fucking charged us. I think they charged us for, like, vodka sodas for the clubs. They fucked everything up. They brought me I ordered a fucking steak Pittsburgh style, and it came out fucking well done. And it was like, it was so busy there that I'm not a send it back guy. I don't send meals back at restaurants just because, I don't know, that is not in me. I feel like you have to be a fucking asshole to do that. It's just like, whatever, just eat it. I know people are like, but you're paying for it, you should. I don't fucking know. But yeah, overcharging and fucking up my steak. God, come on, guys, be better. Now, the only time I really miss booze is like when I'm watching football. That's really it. Drinking water while watching football kind of sucks. Football is really, has never been anything that was better designed. There's no pairing that is better than beer and sports. That I will totally say that I really, really miss drinking beer while watching football. Like if I went to, I try to get to a hockey game or two during the winter too. I can't imagine going to that and not having a beer. Like that would fucking suck. Baseball game. Like how do you go on like a hot summer day? How do you sit in the stands at a baseball game? You can eat you can eat pretzels and peanuts and fucking hot dogs. All of these foods that require a beer. You don't want to drink a fucking water or a soda while you're doing it. It's insane. But with that in mind, November 1st is a Friday. And the 31st of October, of course, is Halloween. So I'll probably be up and about doing something that night. Probably check out the village parade or something like that. So I am taking input if you would like to comment or hit me up on social media or such. What you think I should break the sober October drinking thing with, because I will definitely be. I'm smoking weed at 12:01. That is fucking, as soon as that fucking shit hits, I have a half a joint left from my pre-sober October smoke and drink fest that I held for myself. So the moment that it turns November 1st, I will be firing up a doob, and then I don't know. I'm either gonna, if I'm home, I guess I'll crack something out of the fridge. If I may head down to like the local neighborhood watering hole, or if I'm on my way back from the city, I might stop at a bar. So let me know what you think I should break the sober October dryness with. How should I quench my thirst? These are the questions. Speaking of sober October, I am one of the boys of summer, as you well know. I love to hang out at the shore where there are big bronze titties and big fat asses on full display. You catch rays, you feel good, you get that vitamin D. You dive in the ocean, you baptize yourself with salt water. It's great. It's like I really think that April through September are the absolute best fucking months of the year. That said, you do not sleep on fall. Fall is fucking awesome. I woke up this morning. I made myself a nice little homemade cinnamon latte. How gay does that say? I made a lovely cinnamon latte. I know. You can say that, call me that, but it wasn't. First of all, it wasn't a soy latte, so you can't call me a fucking soy boy. I like a nice cup of coffee, and I'm not an asshole. I don't get into this fucking. I'll have a Starbucks once in a while, but I don't need the PSL thing. I don't understand why people suck that thing's dick so hard. Dan Clemente, nice to have you joining us. I spent some QT, some quality time with Mr. Clemente Thursday night. We watched some reality TV, and a raucous, rollicking, laughing good time it was. Thank you for tuning in, sir. Yeah, I don't understand the fucking PSL obsession, and it's a hack fucking topic, so I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I have a fucking latte maker, and I have this coconut cream, and you can buy like a bag of Starbucks coffee for like $8. It lasts you like 3 weeks. Just fucking make your own. I just don't fucking understand going in and dealing with some fucking moron. He's gonna spell your fucking name wrong. You can buy pumpkin spice, you could buy apple pie spice, you could buy cinnamon, you could buy fucking nutmeg, you can buy anything at the fucking grocery store and just make your own shit. It's so much better. I just spent an hour before launching the show here, chilling out, listening to a lovely autumn jazz mix on Pandora, sipping coffee in my basement. I woke up early because you ever get woken up by the need to take a shit? I woke up because I had, for dinner yesterday, I fasted all day, and I was fucking chomping at the fucking bit for some tasty din. So I made ramen with Chinese pork dumplings. I took my leftover chicken from the week and just shredded it up real nice and threw that into the broth. I cracked a couple eggs in there for some extra protein and fats, and then I gave the whole thing a nice whack with sriracha and soy sauce. Fucking delicious. And then while I was watching Real Time with Bill Maher before bed, I treated myself to some nice warm cookies and milk. So I woke up this morning to just a gut bomb waiting to go off, and I didn't even need. Usually I have to. I like a nice cup of coffee and some water to get that dump to the precipice. But this morning, no sir, that thing was awake before I was. So yeah, dropped a real nice Duke. But yeah, for autumn is lovely. I got the window open here, a nice cool breeze coming in. I feel bad for phone people. Yeah, people who live on their phone as I live stream this show on my fucking phone and hope that people will watch it on their fucking phones. But I feel bad for people who just live on the phone. Like, you see them, they walk around, they're on the phone. They if they're sitting waiting for the bus, they're on the phone. They can't, I guess, be in their own minds, so they have to be on the phone. Do yourself a favor. Put the phone away. I went for a walk Thursday night. I went out to pick up my laundry up at the old Fluff and Fold, which you would think Fluff and Fold is kind of it's a deceiving name, because you would think that you walk in, they would suck your dick, and then they would give you your freshly folded laundry, right? They would fluff you and then hand you your folded laundry. Actually, all they do is make you pay them to do your laundry. So that's really, I'm going to talk to the Better Business Bureau about that. But no, my phone was down. It was like 10% batteries. Just left it on the charger, and the credit card reader at the laundromat wasn't working. So I couldn't pick up my laundry. I was like, fuck it. I had some time to kill before I met up with the bros. So I went for a nice long neighborhood stroll. There are two really nice parks around the corner from my house. One has a great view of the New York City skyline. The other one has just like this nice tree-lined walkway with benches and shit. Fucking sit on a bench and do nothing. Just detach from your mind. Like, all we do is just fucking distract ourselves with bullshit all day, and you wonder why everyone is fucking miserable. It's just because you're inundating yourself with these different feedback loops from fucking games and alerts and apps and all of this shit, and it's just like, you turn it off and you ignore it, and you're like, oh, this just doesn't exist. It's as if it didn't exist, and none of it's important. Like, playing fucking games on your phone, it sucks. It's stupid. I used to do it. I used to play when I used to take the train back to Bergen County when I was living with my parents and working in the city. I would play like those brick breaker games, and it's like, yeah, it's fun. It's a distraction. I was at a point where I was like getting up from my desk at work to go sit on the shitter and just play fucking brick out games, and then, after a while, you're just like, oh, this is useless. This is just not a worthwhile use of my fucking time. Yeah, go for a stroll. Do a good stroll with no distractions, and that means no headphones, nothing. Literally, just you and fucking whatever environment you're walking through, whether it's a city, the suburbs, the park, the beach, whatever. Just fucking walk. It's almost like, when you've been playing a video game forever, and it's just like you're fucking it's like hitting the fucking reset button. It cools everything down. Or like if you've been watching too much porn, and your computer starts to get slow and fucking and stalled and shitty, and you have to fucking, you gotta hit the old power down button and let it sit for a minute before booting it back up. That is what going for a walk with no fucking distractions, nothing, no AirPods pumping whatever the fuck into your head, no fucking texts, no phone calls, just go out and exist. It's glorious. Speaking of phones, if you are going to use one, what I would suggest you do is go to my social media page. Page is facebook.com/The Savage Crew. That's where you're viewing this fine program. So please like and share that with your friends. Twitter @Mike Montone is probably where I do most of my social media fucking around. Instagram @Gary_Moyler, Ler. And, of course, the audio podcast you can download at thesavagecrew.libsyn.com. So please check all of that. If you are going to be on your phones and wasting your life away staring into a screen, all that I ask is that you waste your life with me. That's actually how I plan, to someday propose to my future wife. Some interesting stories. I have to see. Speaking of technology, I have to see if this fucking tablet has gotten any kind of a charge. It appears that it has gotten a slight charge. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull up these stories. I'm what's called an unprepared, incompetent jackass, and what I did was I left my fucking tablet out on zero battery and neglected to charge it before doing the show today, so I had to plug it into the charger. But it looks like I got 9%, so I'm going to put you through the pain of sitting here and watching me look up these stories. The first one I want to get to, this being October, is that the fuck, talking about losing your fucking train of thought. Fuck me. What a terrible listener experience this morning. We're going to, we tuned in and listened to this asshole look things up on his Amazon Fire tablet. He doesn't even have an iPad. What a fucking loser. No, it's October. The Major League Baseball playoffs are here, and what has happened? The Atlanta Braves indeed got chopped. Fuck them. No, all I want this October is for the Yankees to not win the World Series. Or if it trickles into November. I do not want the New York Yankees winning the World Series because their fans are the biggest jerk-offs on the planet. I don't know if you guys saw the whatchamacallit, I think it was last week or early this week, they were playing, who the Yankees open up with? The Twins in the division series. They were playing the Twins, and the Twins have this pitcher who, when he was in the minor leagues, he was driving for Uber to make a little cash. Minor league baseball players make like no money. Like, you get paid jack shit. So this guy was the way people do. He gig economy job. He went out and hustled, made some extra cash. Good for him. The Yankees fans, when he was pitching, were chanting Uber at him, and as though it's an insult that he used to drive for Uber. And this, to me, really speaks to the stupidity of New York Yankees fans. If you go from driving for Uber to pitching in the Major League Baseball playoffs, it's not something that you can be insulted about. If someone is chanting Uber at you when you're on the mound, and that's you achieve. It's an accomplishment. It means you're very good at baseball. It means you are so good at baseball that you no longer have to drive for Uber because now you're pitching you have a chance to pitch in the World Series. It's just preposterous. It's just, Yankees fans are just absolutely the most retarded bunch of dumbasses ever. Like, to think that that's an insult. I just don't get the angle there. We're going to show up at the ballpark and we're going to chant and remind you of your monumental achievement? Is that supposed to get into his head? If I was on the mound, I'd be like, yeah, remember I used to drive for Uber and now I'm pitching in the major leagues? Like, how are you insulted by that? That is just it is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Say what you will about Mets versus Yankees. Yes, the Yankees win the World Series quite frequently. The Mets win the World Series never. But Mets fans would never be dumb enough to chant Uber at an opposing pitcher. If you go to Citi Field and Mets fans are going to yell at it, they're just going to call you a fag. Like, we cut right to the chase. We're just going to be like, You suck, fag. Like, that's how Mets fans get you. We don't, like, Yankees fan probably thought they were all clever, like, yeah. It's like back in high school, the students section at my school, when we'd play a team from a town that was renowned for being stupid. We were a very smart high school. They would chant SAT scores, which, that's a great insult. We're saying, not only are we kicking your ass at football, but we're also smarter than you motherfuckers, and we'll eventually go on to better colleges and wind up paying much more in student loans. But the Uber, it's not an insult. It's a compliment. You did good if you go from driving for Uber to pitching in the playoffs. They were complimenting him while he was on the mound, and they thought they were insulting him. That is how stupid Yankees fans are. They're literally, the only thing Yankee fans are smart enough to do is look and say, oh, those guys have a lot of World Series trophies. I will root for them because it means I get to celebrate the World Series with great frequency. That is the baseline intelligence of a New York Yankees fan. It would literally be like, Kurt Warner, legendary NFL quarterback. He's in the Hall of Fame. You see him. I think he's on NFL Network or Fox or whatever. Before he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, he got cut from, I think it was the Green Bay Packers, and while he was trying to work his way back into the NFL, he was working bagging groceries. That would literally be like if you were at a Rams game back in the day, and Kurt Warner was back there calling plays, and you started chanting, "Shop right, shop right." It would be like, yeah, I made it here from ShopRite. What the fuck have you done? Like, this is, yes, thank you. Remember when I worked at ShopRite? This is much better. This is fantastic. What a great thing that I have to enjoy here, my professional sports career. Just fucking morons. Just the Yankees fans. And if you ever meet a Yankee fan, you just know the just overwhelming majority of them are just fucking dopes. It's not even, seriously, do yourself a favor. Go out and about, if you happen to be in the tri-state area, and interact with Mets fans, and then interact with Yankee fans. I would never even tell you to go to a game at Yankee Stadium, because it just looks like a just terrible, awful experience. You know who goes to Yankee games are like filled with like, people, they're not even sports fans. They just go because it's like the New York, it's like this fucking, it's like people who like sit courtside at like a Lakers game or something like that. You're like, all right, jerk offs. You want to meet a real baseball fan, go to Citi Field. You want to meet someone with an IQ above 7, go to Citi Field too. But yeah, anyway, back to the Atlanta Braves. So the Braves, obviously aptly named after some sort of Indian fucking Native American thing, whatever the fuck. They have this thing, and you've probably seen it before. You really don't see it quite as often anymore. But back through the 1990s, it was big. They would do the tomahawk chop. Where they go, oh, 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 and it was this big, you get a stadium full like 30,000 people doing that. It's kind of it's an ominous noise, and it's really cool. And if you're on the Braves, it probably fucking got you all jacked up, like badass stuff, especially with the acoustics inside of a stadium. Florida State used to do. It's a very common, the chop. Even Robin Hood Men in Tights, they make reference to the tomahawk chop. The Atlanta Braves they used to give out foam tomahawks for their fans to do it. They'd put them on the seats before the game. But a Cardinals relief pitcher, an opposing team's relief pitcher, complained that he felt that the tomahawk chop is a misrepresentation of the Cherokee people or Native Americans in general. And that's it. No more fun. The Braves said, you know what, you're right, we're going to stop doing it. What the fuck is that? What? This is how sports works. Sports is about yelling mean and intimidating things to get into the opponent's head. So if I find out that a guy on the other team doesn't like it when we do the chop, guess what we're doing every time that motherfucker steps on the mound? We're giving him the fucking chop. Like, we're not gonna chop the chop just because a guy on the other team doesn't like the chop. We're gonna cut right to the chop to get in that motherfucker's head so that when he's pitching against our batters, he's not pitching as well, and they're taking their chops and they're teeing off, and we can scalp the motherfuckers. I mean, it's just absolutely preposterous that this has to go away because a guy complained, and people on the internet are like, well, I don't agree. I might not find the tomahawk chop offensive, but if one Native American does, that's good enough for me. It's gotta go. Like, no, suck my fucking dick. Like, we're allowed to have a little fun, alright? You know, it's so fucking annoying. It's not like they weren't collecting, Indian scalps outside the stadium. They're just goofing on the fucking thing. And by the way, it's the Atlanta Braves. It's a homage. It's a compliment. They're talking about how brave. It's not the Atlanta Cowards, all right? If this was some sort of thing where it implied that Native Americans or Indians or First People or Indigenous People or whatever the fuck we're calling them this year, if it was implying that there was something wrong with them, if they were, if it was a pejorative in any sense, then I would understand. You'd say, okay, I get it. Oh, that's wildly offensive. I mean, if it was the fucking, if the Harlem minstrel shows or whatever, name, the Brooklyn Big Schnozzes, I understand the offense, but the Braves, no, the chop, the Braves, just keep doing it. Stop giving in to fucking everything. Yeah, I love, so the Braves got absolutely hammered, by the way, by the Cardinals in, I don't know, was it Game 5? I don't know, but the Georgia House Majority Whip, Representative Trey Kelly, tweets after the game, "This is painful. Have to feel this is karma for the unjustified and rash decision to do away with foam tomahawks." And I'm usually not on board, like, the whole, I think it's kind of hacky to be like, we're too fucking PC, man, like, fucking snowflakes, like, alright, that's low-hanging fruit, but in this case, I think we have to call it like we see it, and in this case, the Braves fucked up. Just ridiculous. If you're an Atlanta Braves fan out there, consider this me as a Mets fan. Maybe not so much an olive branch, but let's just say we smoke 'em peace pipe for at least for the morning. I would be very happy if I ever went to a Mets Braves game down in Atlanta to hear that stadium filled with the sounds of the chop. So, in the spirit of that, allow me to. Okay, moving on. What do we got next? Again, you're gonna have to watch me look this shit up. And if you think I'm editing it out, if you think I'm spending part of my Saturday editing out my fucking searches for the audio version, you are sorely mistaken. So I don't know, fucking fast forward 30 seconds or some shit. What do we got here? What I'm looking for is an article about Martin Scorcese saying that these fucking here we go. So, Marty Scorsese, obviously, legendary director. Goodfellas, Casino, Gangs of New York, Wolf of Wall Street, fucking name him and name an awesome movie and he's behind it. The Irishman, which just premiered, I think it comes out on Netflix next month. His handiwork. He came out and he had this quote about these Marvel films, Marvel Comics films. Which I don't go see them. I don't give a fucking shit about like superhero stories. I don't the saving the I don't just have to fucking do it for me. But I know people get all fucking boned up over them and very excited. But he said, I don't see them. I tried to, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. Yeah, and I mean, yes, technically, in the most technical sense of the term, because the comic book nerds are pushing back, saying, but it is cinema. Like, shut the fuck up. All right, yeah, we know. Technically, it's a movie. But what he's saying is that there's McDonald's, and then there is, a quiet, privately run steakhouse downtown. Every once in a while, a McDouble. You want to go get yourself a Big Mac of fries and a Coke. I understand that. You know what I like once in a while? A Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. Once, twice a year, yeah, it's delicious. It's immediately gratifying. Maybe you're stoned, maybe you're hungover, maybe you're drunk, maybe you're just fucking starving and you happen to come upon a McDonald's, you wolf it down. Yes, of course, once in a while, that is delightful. But on a regular basis, if I have my druthers, I would rather eat at the steakhouse where I can get, a nice, $45 cut with, a big fucking pile of mashed potatoes or some fucking frites or, a nice fucking seafood salad appetizer and a great glass of wine or a nice beer or something like that and have a good conversation with the boys and top it all off with a nice whiskey, all right? Do you fucking understand that, fucking, how many fucking times can I see an asshole in tights save the universe? I mean, it just doesn't fucking do it for me. I don't, and I'm not even going to sit on this topic for long because there are far better things to discuss, but it's just, he's absolutely right. And it's, to me, what those movies are, they are. And it's not, again, if you enjoy going to see them, it's a fun diversion for a couple hours. I'm not even shaming you for that, but anyone who is saying that he's wrong about what he said is you're just a fucking idiot. Like, I understand that it's all subjective and people are going to like what they like, but, eventually it's, one is better than the others. One is a work of art. The other is it's a distraction. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Is I feel like the comic book movies are a distraction. They're a fun diversion, and they're meant to launch action figure lines and theme park rides and sell T-shirts and Happy Meals and whatever the fuck else. But they're not to call them, great films on the level of, what are some of the great movies of all time? American Psycho, Godfather, Jaws, even so I think Jaws is a great example, right? Even Jaws, which has those elements of, ridiculousness, there's a big shark chasing everyone around, it also has amazing dialogue. It moves at just the perfect pace. The lines, you can quote those lines all day. If you quote a fucking line from Guardians of the Galaxy, people are going to look at you like you have a dick growing out of your head. If you quote a line if you say "smile, you son of a bitch," people know what you're talking about. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. People know what you're talking about. Those beaches will be open on the 4th of July. People know what you're talking about. Those are fucking classic lines. It's fucking great cinema. It fucking rules. even something like Point Break, which is, you can call it like almost a cheeseball movie, but it's so well acted, and again, the fucking dialogue in that movie is awesome, and the plot may be absurd and there might be ridiculous action scenes, but it's a well crafted film versus fucking just a special effects disaster piece. Like, fuck off. Like, it's just not. He's just right. The guy's fucking right. Like, and there's a reason he makes the best movies ever. Like, that's just fucking it. Like, I don't know what to tell you other than, suck my dick and go back to your comic book store. Nerds. Worst movie ever. Moving on. This might be, this is my second to last story for the week, because the one I'm going to close on is like the big one, but this might be my favorite story of the week. CNN's Chris Cuomo's Mine 2 joke to Kamala Harris at an LGBTQ event draws backlash. So, Thursday night, CNN held a LGBTQ town hall where they took questions and concerns from members of the LGBTQ community, and different Democratic candidates kind of answered those questions and gave their stance and their position on different things. And Kamala Harris, here's how I feel about Kamala Harris. I would plow the shit out of Kamala Harris, especially like younger Kamala Harris. Like, she looks like she's a fucking savage in the fucking, especially like a prosecutor. If you have ever fucked with a prosecutor, it is those bitches can ride a fucking dick. Let me tell you. And I feel like Kamala probably gets down. Like, she looks like back in her day she had a fat ass. And she looks like she doesn't skimp on the head either, and something tells me that she keeps that box nice and waxed. But I find her disingenuous, and anyway, in a prime showing of her disingenuousness, she came out to the stage and said her preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers. And Chris Cuomo, fucking dork, said, mine too. Like, just a little joke. He's joshing. He's Chris Cuomo, right? He's TV personality. Likes to keep things light and loose. Poor Fredo. Poor Fredo. The left-leaning Twitter universe did not take well to it. I'm gonna play it right here for myself. I don't know if you're probably not gonna pick this up on the.
Thank you, guys. Pronouns are she, her, and hers. She, her, and
mine too.
Harmless little joke from uber douche Chris Cuomo. But people on Twitter went absolutely ballistic, and as happens, that means that it's gonna hit the digital papers the next day. It's cool that the Dem nominees had an LGBTQ town hall where nobody challenged Chris Cuomo's disrespectful trans joke. That was one person. One person called Painfully Awkward. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what to fucking say anymore. I think Cuomo's kind of a tool after he went ballistic about being called Fredo and he compared it to the N-word. But where the fuck are we? That the guy can't make a little crack. I mean, that I've said it so many times. Part of acceptance means that you can now be the butt of jokes like everybody else. Like, that's it. Like, he clearly didn't deliver it with any bigotry in mind. I mean, for fuck's sake, the guy works for CNN and he's hosting an LGBTQ town hall. He is spending his evening giving members of the LGBTQ community a platform to voice their concerns to people who are vying for the presidency. I don't know how much more of an ally Chris Cuomo could be. This is fucking preposterous. Like, this is, and people wonder, the entire fucking night was an absolute shit show. A child who I guess identifies as trans was on the stage asking a question. He was up on the dais, and all of a sudden a black trans woman came storming out of the crowd like Kanye West and stole the microphone away and went on a rant. And then a fucking. Liz Warren says that, do they have any more stupid responses in this article? Let me take a look. Let's, what did Liz Warren says? They're asking her about using taxpayer money to fund gender reassignment surgery for prison inmates. She said, I believe that everyone is entitled to medical care and medical care they need, and that includes people who are transgender, who it is time for them to have gender-affirming surgery. I just think that's important. What the fuck does that mean? That you're gonna say prison inmates, that you have to use your own money in jail to get shit from the fucking commissary. If you want tuna packets, you gotta go stamp some license plates for 25 cents an hour and save up your cash so you can buy tuna and top ramen. And Warren is saying, yeah, but guess the taxpayers are gonna pay for you to have your penis removed, a vagina put in place, and a set of breasts put on. It's, again, and this isn't to be a transphobe or whatever and say that I think if you want to transition, fine, that's your right, I think, as a human being, but to say that the taxpayer should be on the hook. I mean, it's shit like this when people say, how does Donald Trump, with all of his absurdity and ridiculousness and signaling to sort of nefarious actors and shit that he pulls, how does he get elected, and how does half the country absolutely love him? It's because he spits in the face of shit like this. It's ridiculous. This is how stupid Democrats look. And this is like, if they pull this shit in the general election, I honestly think Trump could probably get impeached, removed from office, go on trial, and get convicted, and still have a chance to win in 2020 if Democrats keep this shit up. This is why no one wants to vote for a Democrat. It's that Democrats are the asshole in class who the smug shithead who thinks they're smarter than you, and they're just doing and saying things to be contrarian douches. I mean, it is just so ridiculous. You cannot say this shit. As I know it's a primary, and primary season means that people are going to pander to the further corners of their party, but this is just, I mean, the only way to describe this is insane. You have to be nuts to actually believe this shit. That's really, I can't imagine that people like Liz Warren are actually so educated to actually believe that statement, and then for the voter base to not find it completely disingenuous is amazing. And I don't do this as a political show. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I have my personal politics are pretty, again, libertarian, but it's just, this is more about just the pervasive idiocy running through our society and culture now. So just what a day here where I'm siding with the hated Atlanta Braves fans and Chris Cuomo. That is what the PC left has pushed me to. Amazing stuff. So I'm gonna wrap up this last story. One sec. Okay. Not a good week for Matt Lauer. First, these videos, this TikTok shit, where he's dancing with his teenage daughter to some sort of weird pop music, and the dancing isn't even the worst part. I would argue that the white turtleneck that he was wearing was the worst part. If you're Matt Lauer, a man of great means, don't wear a plain white turtleneck. There is, in 2019, we're beyond the turtleneck. The turtleneck is done. It's out. It's gone. The only time you should be wearing a turtleneck is if you have a. I will accept if you have a blazer over it and you're a bearded gentleman with greasy hair and a fat chain on and you're going to a discotheque. Then you wear the fuck out of that turtleneck. But no, Matt Lauer has been accused of anal rape. You don't want that to happen. Never a good thing to be accused of anal rape. Apparently, what happened is that what's alleged to have happened is that when he was covering the Sochi Olympics, him and a staffer got drunk. They went up to his hotel room. She claims that he threw her on the bed and butt fucked her. I mean, without consent, butt fucked her. And that kicked off a long-running sort of power-fueled sexual relationship between the two. Lauer, for his part, says that there was no rape, that they had a consensual affair, and he detailed the entire thing, he released, it was like a 3-page statement. So essentially, what Lauer is saying is, look, yeah, I did in fact have sex with this chick over and over again, but he's admitting to detail, like in-depth details about it, like, we kissed goodbye at the door and we did this and that and all of this shit that a married man likely would not admit to, or I think he's divorced maybe, but like a guy who had been, generally speaking, it doesn't land in your favor to admit to an extramarital affair, which Lauer has done. He's saying that it wasn't rape. She's saying it was. So it's basically a huge and horrible he said, she said right now, because I mean, I don't know where we get. I don't know where we're ever gonna know the truth, because it was years ago. There's no, there's a physical, unless she, unless she had a rape kit done or saved, there's just no to find evidence of it, or text messages, I guess. But this is just one big he said, she said, and it's out in the new Ronan Farrow book, which is meant to expose predatory behavior at NBC, I guess. And Lauer had been accused of some sneaky shit in the past. But now Lauer is being accused of slut shaming for defending himself. The woman who the woman who accused Tom Brokaw of harassment came out and said that this is a case of slut shaming. But the Darvo play. Oh yeah, so she says it's a common tactic used by. Did I say tactic? Tactic. It's a common tactic used by accused sex offenders called Darvo for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Matt's letter is straight out of the Darvo playbook, she said. So I guess what this woman is saying that is that he wants us to blame the victim and believe that she is nothing more than a jilted lover seeking money and fame, and she called it a jujitsu move to paint himself as the real victim. And she said, I want to state emphatically for the record, women do not step forward to expose a predator for wealth and notoriety, she wrote. Here's the thing. First of all, again, like I said, we have no idea what actually happened. And we've heard from the past allegations against Matt Lauer that some of them might not be rooted in the strongest evidence, that a lot of them were like they said he had a bag of dildos, and then it came out that, oh, those were something that like a show guest just kind of dropped off in his office and said, hey, here you go, here's a box of cocks, Matt. Totally possible, right? Who the fuck, people, I work for a show, people bring us weird shit all the time. Fucking TJ Miller brought in fucking bottles of Mexican drinking water one day, People bring weird shit into shows. Usually they bring whatever book they're plugging, but I guess if maybe you work for a sex toy company, bring sex toys. That would seem normal. That is what happens in that business. But to say that because you defend yourself, and I think Matt Lauer can be kind of a glib douche, to paraphrase Tom Cruise. But to say that by defending himself against these allegations that he's victim blaming is ridiculous. I mean, then what's where are we at then? That you can't, if you're accused of something, then that's it. Then you have a social responsibility now to just lie down and take your medicine even if you're not sick. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. If you accuse me of an anal rape that I didn't commit, you know what the first thing I'm going to do is? I'm going to give you a aggressive explanation as to why I did not commit the anal rape. I mean, that makes sense. You have two options. One is just say, look, I'm not even going to address or dignify these allegations. Fuck off. Talk to my lawyer. Talk to my rep. Whatever. That's one option. The other option is if you really, and because they're saying this went on for a period of years, if you can in detail explain how you think your accuser is full of shit, then you come out and explain why your accuser is full of shit. You defend yourself. I mean, you have a family, a career, and a reputation to defend that you spent decades building. If you didn't do something, you're not going to sit there and let people walk around and just call you Matt Lauer, the anal rapist. And again, we have no idea if he did it or not, but to say that he's victim shaming or victim blaming because he said that he didn't commit anal rape is fucking preposterous. And to say that people, she says, takes victim shaming to a depth I have never seen before is ridiculous, because people, there are nefarious actors out there of every gender. It doesn't matter. Again, if men and women are to be equal, and men can be bad actors, then women can be bad actors too. I mean, it's simple as that. So if with no other evidence to base this on, then you have to hear out the accused. I mean, we have in our legal system, it is designed to protect the rights of the accused. So to go out in the media and be able to slam someone and say, this guy anally raped me, I don't have any physical evidence for it, but trust me, he anally raped me. And by the way, we continued to have a sexual relationship for months or years after the fact. To say that he can't come out and defend himself is absolutely preposterous. And we've gone over this with every fucking one of these that happens, whether it's Weinstein or R. Kelly or who the fuck ever, or fucking whatchamacallit, Louis C.K., Aziz Ansari, whoever, some of them maybe did it, some of them didn't do it, some of them it may have been the oft-talked-about gray area where there was a miscommunication between two people and something uncomfortable happened. We can't, just because someone makes an accusation does not mean that it's a cut and dry case of that guy is guilty. And to say that a woman is not capable of fabricating something like this, especially against a guy in a wealthy man in a position of power like that, who is vulnerable to, look, frivolous lawsuits are filed every day. People settle out of court for shitloads of money. There's a guy who goes around New York City looking for buildings that don't have wheelchair ramps and then suing the owners of those buildings for not having wheelchair ramps in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Not even, he doesn't even use the buildings, he just sues them for not being able to use them, even if he doesn't need them. It is ridiculous. So people do launch bullshit, frivolous accusations in hopes of, getting a payday or getting some notoriety or whatever. There are, what do they say? Like 1 out of every 100 people is a psychopath or a sociopath. So to say that Matt Lauer, because he is accused, is totally 100% guilty is just absolute rubbish. Again, he might very well be. He might not. I don't know. If there's evidence, let's see it. I will. This all came out in. I think I said a Ronan Farrow book that I think it's due out. It come out Monday? I think it comes out Monday. I will probably give it a read because Ronan has been behind like all of these fucking exposés. I feel like it's one of the big stories of our generation is going to be the whole Me Too thing. So I'm definitely got to check it out. But without any damning evidence, to say that Matt Lauer is simply guilty is, I think, wrong. I think his accuser deserves to be heard. But if you are accused of something, you deserve to be heard as well. And I think that goes for court of law as much as it goes for the court of public opinion. So I'm going to, what a light, fun note to wrap things up for today. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for downloading. Again, social media, facebook.com/The Savage Crew, Twitter @Mike Montone, Instagram @Gary_Moyler, Moyler. And of course, you can find the podcast available wherever podcasts are downloaded. The show lives at thesavagecrew.libsyn.com. And thank you again for tuning in. See ya.